This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
Hi, this is Joseph Williams, son of John Williams, and you are watching the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT.
Stormtrooper armor deflects everything except Orback hooves. They're like a horse version of Thomas the Tank Engine.
AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
The vacuum of space does crazy things to your beehole out there, man.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, we've always joked that we could write some damn good Star Wars. On this episode, we put our money where our mouths are and rewrite some of the moments in Star Wars we think need to be redone.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We are live at those three locations every other Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch audio replays of the show on any podcast platform that you can think of. If you are watching live on YouTube, do not forget to click that like and subscribe button so that you are notified every time we go live. We do our occasional WTF Friday episodes. Steve will also be telling you about his new Twitch gaming channel, the NHC Gaming. And you never know when we might just have a special pop-up episode with Star Wars Celebration coming up. We might just go live for the hell of it. So we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And go get your customizable Nerf Herder Council swag, which will look great at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim next month. That is at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. Let me bring on my amazing co-hosts, AJ and Steve. What is going on, guys?
What is?
Damn, amazing co-hosts, huh?
Well, you know, I figured
you're kind of overselling it, don't you think?
I got to give you guys some props. You know, it takes a lot to deal with my ass, so you know, I give you a lot of credit for that.
That part's true.
Yeah. So our buddy Kale McLeish is already on. Says morning, everyone.
Yeah.
He is in Australia. It is morning for him. So good to see you, Kale, man. So I figure that I will start off the show with a quick story here. So I was just up at the local brewery, Wadsworth Brewing Company. It's up the street from me. They have this amazing peanut butter beer, and I saw they had it on tap. I'm like, I got to go get a few cans of that for my mini fridge up here in the man cave. So as I'm sitting there, I'm talking Star Wars with the owner, Ernie. He's a huge Star Wars guy. He names a lot of the beers after Star Wars stuff, and I'm talking Star Wars with a couple of the guys, slinging beers there. And one of his buddies walks in with this really delicately wrapped like package, and Ernie's like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "Open it." So he puts it on the bar and opens it real, slowly to make sure, doesn't know what's in there, and he pulls out the complete set of the Burger King Empire Strikes Back glasses.
Nice.
Oh, snap.
Yep.
Those things are amazing.
Right.
And man, the very first thing I said is, be careful, man. Those things are brittle. But it was really cool. So we got talking about stuff, and then
man, you can't wash them things more than one time because that shit'll just come off the outside of the glass.
Oh man, and the glass is, ooh man, those things break.
Yeah.
So I have a friend that had a set and dropped one and just barely dropped it, and it was he was sitting on the ground. He dropped it at maybe a foot and shattered. So it was like, ugh.
Oh yeah,
But
you
yeah.
gotta get rid of the set at that point.
Yeah,
You might
it's
as well
incomplete.
break all of them.
It's incomplete, man. So yeah, so that was pretty cool. So I had a good Star Wars discussion, and I felt bad because I got another idea for tonight's topic to put on my list as I was talking to Ernie, and I didn't want to be rude and look down at my phone and start. It would have looked like I was texting because I have a list on. I wrote it up on my phone, and I after I left, I forgot what it was. I was like, "Damn, that was a good one." So maybe it'll come to me, you know. So
I'm gonna run away for 2 seconds and turn my light off because my camera's fucking up.
yeah, that was good. That's awesome video and radio. Steve, thanks for that. That was good.
There we go.
I'm just looking at it and I'm like, man, every time the RGB changes, like it's fucking with my damn camera.
Right.
I got to turn that off.
There's Kale. He's right. He says that is a display item only. Get them cased. Yeah,
Yes.
AJ, you got me the Return of the Jedi glasses, and I basically I unboxed them on the shelf, so I didn't even have to lift them over a potential drop area. So
They're not that fragile. Come on now, man.
I wasn't taking a risk. It's not like I could just go to the store and replace them.
They're made out of that the movie glass, that sugar glass shit. So you squeeze it too
Exactly.
hard and it just destroys in your hand.
Exactly. Oh, our buddy Weaver, what's up, man? Good to see you. He says, just tuned in. What's up, guys? Man,
What
oh, man.
up?
Good to see you, dude. Look at that. Yeah, your camera's a little blurry according to Kale there, Steve. I think it's because it keeps changing color, but
Probably.
so, as I teased in the intro, Steve, we have a new subset or sub channel or sub what the hell ever of the Nerf Herder Council. You started a gaming channel. So why don't
I
you talk
did.
about that for a quick second?
Nerf Herder Gaming or Nerf Herder Games, because gaming was taken already.
Wait, Nerf
It's-
Herder Gaming was taken?
It's apparently, yeah. But if you search for it on Twitch, it's non-existent. So I don't know. But I wasn't allowed to have the name. So I mean, whatever. Games it is. And so I've been doing it for a couple weeks now. I got like 12 some odd hours in on it or something. Not doing too bad for myself right now. It's fun.
Okay.
Got a
So
little bit going on. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring, played some Grand Theft Auto. I tried some VR stuff, but the Oculus website was not working with me too much, so that night was kind of a disaster. But I was doing that for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or something. I'd say about half of it was useful video and audio, but
When do you normally do this? Is it just random, or are you going to have a regular schedule? Or
nah, I have not. Trying to do a regular schedule isn't worth it. So it's just like whenever I feel like I have time, usually weekends, but yeah, anytime. Like I think I did it. Maybe it's yeah. That's when all the fat Star Wars fans that live in their parents' basements go try to run for the new merch at Celebration before it sells out at the booth.
Hey man, some of those fat nerds are very lively and spry. Trust me.
Right?
Yeah,
You'd be surprised, right?
I'm one of them. Yeah, Kale. Yeah, Kale's comment was Nerf Herder Games sounds like some sort of Star Wars Olympics. Not gonna lie.
Right.
So, do you guys have?
Steve, I actually tuned into your Twitch stream on Friday after I was done doing the WTF Friday show. And where did you I don't know anything about Elden Ring, but I noticed your character was Darth Maul. Is there a skin you can download or something?
No, you have to create it. You have to go into the create a character, and I had to make him black, and I had to find a weird like logo thing and blow it up on his face and make it red and stuff. So if you get really close to him, it does not look like Darth Maul, but with the hood up and everything else, and from far in the thing, it looks good enough.
Yeah, JT, he's got a double-bladed sword and everything, so it's medieval style, but it's Darth Maul.
It's
pretty killer,
double-bladed
actually.
and it's red, so it works. And I got all black armor, so
So it's close enough. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's as close as you can get. It's like if you ordered Darth Maul off of Wish. That's pretty much what you got there.
Okay. Look, there's Kale. He says, If anyone's playing PS4, I'd be up for a game of Battlefront 2 or Squadrons, maybe, since Lego Star Wars didn't drop with online playability. I'd let you kick my ass in Battlefront or Squadrons. I have both of those. I play online. I'm really bad at both, but I love doing it because it's fun. Especially Battlefront 2. I'm terrible at that, so that is really bad.
You can holler at John and AJ with that. I'm an Xbox guy.
Yeah. So, all right, real quick before we get into tonight's topic, AJ, do we have any WTF Fridays coming up?
Probably. Basically because I found out that, that thing back there is it's going to take a few episodes to get through it. So I'd have to put a few more shows in the pipeline just to get that thing out before, August.
So it looks like legs, and what's next to it? Is that like part of the body of it, or did you not get that far?
So yeah, I pre-sorted. Yeah, I pre-sorted like this stuff. So those 3 containers right there, those are all pieces for the head. And then
it's just containers. Okay, I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I left the legs assembled, but I'll be taking those apart to finish the build when we get to that part. I just wanted to. I built it to see if there were parts missing and what a pain in the ass this thing was going to be before I went live with it. And so now I'm going to take it apart and we'll build it on the air.
And that's is that the ATST still?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a WTF ATST Friday. nothing but initials.
Yeah.
Well, we got to keep the pipeline flowing because I've already got the next one on its way from China. So it's on a boat somewhere on its way to us.
Right. So when you finish that one in August, the other one might be halfway here by then.
Yeah, basically.
you could still better than a Novos.
Yeah. You could. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say you could walk to China, get the thing by yourself, and come back before it'll get shipped here, right. And you'd still get it before an email from a Novos. So.
Damn right.
All right. So AJ, you brought tonight's topic to the table, and it should be interesting. I actually have a list of ideas here, and I tried to go with stuff that would not be overly obvious because obviously I rant about a few things, and I tried to avoid that. So your idea was things in Star Wars we would rewrite. And I have to admit,
this all came out of the idea of basically online fandom and how every time something gets released, there's always a huge portion that's just like, that's terrible. That's not the way it should have happened. I was like, all right, well, what would you do about it? So, right. I was like, okay, this should be interesting. It's kind of like put your money where your mouth is. So,
okay,
the rules are simple. Whatever you would change, you have to also pitch what you would do instead.
Oh, okay. So now you had to go and make it harder. Damn.
Yeah. I wasn't able to do that for one or two of mine because I know what I don't want it to do. Like I know what I didn't want Star Wars to do, but I couldn't think of a good replacement. I just know that what happened, I would have done differently.
Okay, we can workshop that.
So, all right. So this is your topic.
We're a writer's room now. We're going to do some fanfic.
Exactly. Right. Everybody else does. What the heck?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So maybe this will be the episode that gets us on the Celebration podcast stage since we got shunned again.
All right. So who'd have thunk?
I know. So, all right, AJ. So it's your topic. So I will let you bring the very first idea to the table. What do you got?
Okay. I always thought that, especially given the fact that we got Darth Maul resurrected in the Clone Wars, I would not have killed him in Episode 1. I think I think George Lucas should have learned from Episode 4 when he thankfully didn't kill off Vader and, didn't kill off Darth Maul this time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, was anyone else before we go on to what would have happened instead, anyone else feel like when they watched that movie for the first time that with all the hype surrounding this character that he was in it for so little and then he gets killed was like a WTF?
Yeah.
Well, it was like a Boba Fett.
I remember thinking to myself that it made no sense that they just I'm like, wait a minute, this dude was all of the promotion for this movie and you just killed him. I'm like, that seems very counterintuitive, I guess, for your promotions.
It was Boba-esque.
Exactly. Yeah. Probably worse, because I don't even know if back in the 70s if they meant to do all that with Boba Fett, but like you knew in 99 or 98, whatever the hell it was, that like they knew what the hell they were doing at that point and they still did it. So
yeah. I when they killed him off, that was my first reaction in the movie. I was like, wait, seriously? Like this new super badass bad guy that looks cool and everybody's, I mean, you just see him in the trailer. Everybody loved him. And oh no, he died. Like, did you not learn in 1983? Like, what the hell? Like,
plus, how could you come up with a character that looks that fantastic and then just off him?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that, AJ, because I actually have one on my list that would tie into yours beautifully. And mine was to not kill him off in Rebels.
Okay, I'll see myself out then because I was waiting for that.
Well, no.
That was the first idea that I came up with. And I was like, how about we don't have Darth Maul die like a fucking pussy in Rebels, okay? Can we rewrite that one out?
Well, see, but now that's the thing. Like I was thinking about like changing like that Maul Obi-Wan fight, but again, to me, I was like, okay, that's obvious. I've railed against that like crazy. But I started thinking about, you know, how in future stories you can have this ultimate bad guy. And I'm like, man, Darth Maul would be perfect if they didn't kill him again.
Yeah, right.
I mean, like, and dude, it's like 2 chump deaths. It's like, I mean, there's a rewrite. If you're going to kill Maul, let's say you have to kill Maul, kill him in a cool way. Like, not just have like, you know, 47 seconds of screen time in one movie, and then he dies, and then he comes back for this epic battle you've been waiting for forever, and it's like 4 seconds long.
Yeah.
Like, how about don't do either of those?
20 years you've been waiting for this. 20 whole years you've been waiting for this, and they're by a campfire, and he just has 5 seconds of dialogue, and then...
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
we're done. Okay.
I argue with people about this all the time, and they say, oh, but it's so symbolic because it's showing that Maul never progressed past his hatred and Obi-Wan moved on, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. It sucked.
Yeah. You could have had symbolic and still had them fight somehow. Like, symbolic doesn't just mean make it look like you're pressed for fucking time.
Yeah,
yeah. That whole episode just reeked of like, wait a minute, we forgot to get rid of this guy, and episode 4 is coming up.
Yeah.
Never mind that it was like an offshoot in a show that had nothing to do with Obi-Wan.
Hold on.
Yeah, dude, it's KXM's Scary. Good to see you, man. He says, yeah, Obi jumped over him. He just watched, bro. Like, yeah. And then, all right, Kale McLeish says Maul's death was fine. Can't change my mind. You can't. Well, then you're wrong because it sucked. No one watched that live. No one watched that live, and they're like, oh, we're finally going to get that fight. And it was 2 seconds long and went, that was satisfying. You are full of shit if you say that. Yeah. Anybody who's like, I loved it at the time. No, you fucking did not. No, you didn't. It's revisionist history. When that happened, your very first visceral reaction was, what the hell was that? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, you know, and you had to think about it to make it cool.
You do?
It wasn't cool off the bat. Okay.
What did you
wasn't.
Do? Did you shed a single tear as it happened because it was so symbolic to Star Wars?
Yeah.
You look like the damn Indian in the commercials from the 80s when they threw the garbage at his feet and just a single tear rolled down your cheek. Wait, shut up. You didn't like it either.
Yeah. And by the way, Kale, I'm not ranting at you alone. This is not just me yelling at you. This isn't anybody that says that. You're full of shit. No one reacted to that and went like immediately, oh my God, that was so cool. No, you don't wait for something that long and get 4 seconds and then go, oh, that was like the greatest thing ever.
It's like KXM
you know when that happens? You know the only time that happens? When you lose your virginity. That's the only time. When you're like that only lasted 4 seconds, but that was amazing.
He jumped and Maul just like he input lagged. Like he was like Obi-Wan was running 60. Obi-Wan was running 60 FPS, and Maul was running 30, and he just couldn't catch up.
Right? I know, man.
Well, my rewrite would save all that nonsense, so don't worry about it.
All right.
Okay. So what's your rewrite?
Here's my basic pitch. My basic pitch is that Maul survives to episode 3, and then Anakin takes it upon himself to kill Maul to take his place as Palpatine's apprentice. Like Palpatine manipulates him, convinces him to like turn, and instead of this whole like, I'm gonna run and like keep Mace Windu from killing him so he can stand trial, even though I just ratted him out in the first place, and we know that we were going to go kill him when we found him, but now I changed my mind. Like, I never really liked the Anakin turn in episode 3. I thought it was weird. It was just clunky how that worked out.
Oh, you
I
suck
thought it
so
would have been
bad.
much more powerful if he actively chose to join the dark side by killing the apprentice so he could be the apprentice.
No, that's all right. Well, are we allowed to give opinions on rewrites? Because I do not like that idea. I think you're completely wrong. I think the reason that his turn was cool was because it wasn't just, oh, I think I'm gonna be bad now. No, it was he was trying to save somebody that he loves. It was
the motivation's
like
still the same.
It had more power. Like it had more power the other way, I think.
I do got to say, I do like the idea of having Maul at least present. If it would have happened in 3, at least he would have been present through the entire prequel trilogy, for 2.5 movies or whatever. So I could get on board with that. Again, since this is all just retcon, I'm not sure if having Anakin be the one kill him is right, but I do like the idea of at least having him around for an extended period of time.
Well, what if Palpatine set it up to where, he doesn't tell Anakin about, his connection to Maul, and then he has Obi-Wan kill Maul when he, because Maul's the dude, but then he finds Anakin to be stronger. He's like, and he kind of sets it up to where Anakin kills Maul, and then he does the reveal of like, yeah, I'm the Sith Lord, whatever. Like, what if it's kind of like, machinations behind the scenes by Palpatine?
What about simpler terms? Just have Maul replace Dooku in the death scene.
Well, I mean, Cale McLeish says it. He just said, I think Maul could have been Dooku. Could have just been Dooku. Just not have Christopher Lee. Have that same, oh shit, I'm the loose end moment. That could.
Yeah, I was thinking about something like that. Or you can still have Dooku, just don't have him be a Sith apprentice. He can still be the separatist leader, do all the political stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to the lightsaber fights in episode 2, give him to Maul.
Yeah, he could have still been a douche, but Maul could have been the guy that was handling all that. That way you would have got 3 or 4 actual scenes with him, using the lightsaber and fighting and stuff like that. You would have had the Yoda fight. You could add a couple of things that would have worked out well with Maul.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you still get the misdirect with the rule of 2, where when Dooku shows up, they're like, "Oh, there's the 2. There's the other Sith guy right there. See, he was working with Maul." Yeah. Not realizing that actually Palpatine was behind it.
Yep. Kale says, so Maul is Dooku. Dooku is Grievous. Nah, got to keep Grievous. Grievous kicks ass. We're leaving General Grievous out of rewrites because I love General Grievous.
Fair enough.
That guy's cool, man. So yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, AJ. That keeping Maul around, I think, is a good idea. I think I would handle it differently, but it does, again, it ties into mine, not killing him off in Rebels, because he's a character that really could, he'd be believable as like the new big bad guy if you kept him around down the road, especially considering all the crap that, they did with him in Clone Wars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. It would have made more sense for the whole arc he had in Clone Wars had you not cut him in half in episode 1.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to go through the goofy spider body shit. He could have just been exiled, and he could have still been hanging out in the damn hole in the ground, but just not as a ridiculous metal spider. You know, he could have just been hiding. You know, so I mean, it would have been a lot easier to tell that story had you done something along those lines.
Yeah. Weaver says Dooku should be a Jedi main character in the Phantom Menace, and then when he joins the Separatists, he's not just some random person we've never seen. I mean,
That's a good one.
Because it was kind of weird, like, oh, this guy wasn't in the first movie, and now he used to be a Jedi. Like, okay, I think, you know, I definitely think that that's a good idea. Like, introduce him a little bit earlier.
Right.
I think that would be good. Show him on the Jedi Council or something. Yeah, and that, I actually
something simple like that, just showing him on the council would have.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into one of my ideas on here, and I'm going to save my big one for the last, I think, because it ties into a couple of mine could tie together. I realized, but I don't know that this is a rewrite, AJ. So I don't know if this counts, and this may be obvious, and I tried to stay away from the obvious. But if I could change something in Star Wars, again, if this doesn't count, then just tell me it's disqualified once I say it, and we'll move on. But if I could go back and change something, I would have a dialogue guy for the prequels, and I would have a different director for each movie. It's too much of a George Lucas yes man thing, and I love the stories, so I wouldn't change the stories because I have no problem with what they did with it. You know, I'm a big fan of the prequel storyline. I love it, actually, but the dialogue is obviously super clunky, and I think, you know, someone to, you know, make it a little bit more real world, like Irvin Kershner did, you know, like Richard Marquand, like we saw with, you know, like Rian Johnson and stuff like that. I think the prequels would have been more fully fleshed out if it wasn't just George. You know, I was thinking of it like a band writing a song. Like, you know, very rarely is there an artist that self-produces and it turns out well. You know, it's very difficult to self-produce yourself, and it's, you know, so I think, you know, George Lucas self-producing himself, it could have turned out better if he would have invited a producer in, to use a songwriter analogy. So I would have, I would have totally made that change. So I don't know that there's a lot of conversation there, but you know, it's
a good point.
No, I agree, because those movies feel like George was so focused on like the broad strokes of the story and all the technical wizardry. He fell in love with the effects and the designs and stuff, and kind of let the character performances just fall by the wayside. He's like, we just need to get from point A to point B. Like, it doesn't really need to be that good.
Right.
All right.
KXM scary. Just Don, Doc, and Solo. No, Don, Doc, and Solo, dude. Don, Doc, and Solo right now, my friend, is basically like the space whales or World Between Worlds of rock and roll. So, yeah. Yeah. So, Steve, what idea do you have?
I had the mall thing.
Okay.
that was literally my thing. So, and I thought we were going to talk about it longer. So I honestly am, we crossed my bridge already. So
all right.
I'm just going to rip on you guys.
I was going to say, you could just react to us.
Well, let's pull that forward though. So, okay. So let's say he doesn't die in Rebels. Then, what happens in 4, 5, and 6? Or beyond, like where does his story end?
I think you still could have killed him in Rebels. I just think the way they did it was ridiculous.
I would have kept him around. I think
because, like, I mean, like you said, you know, the story of 4, 5, and 6 is already there, and Darth Maul doesn't exist, so you have to end that story somehow. You're either gonna kill him or you're gonna shoot his ass off into space somewhere and hope to tell another story of his later on, but you had to get rid of him somehow. I just think it was really, like I mentioned earlier, it seemed like they were pressed for time on that episode. It was just like they built it up and then they just went, okay, he's dead now. And I don't care about the symbolic stuff and all that. Like it was stupid. It was just dumb to take a character that everybody likes and make him go out that bad. You know, like there's a difference between that and what they did with Boba Fett, because at the time, I don't think Boba Fett had the cult following or fan base that he had, you know, at least pre Book of Boba Fett. So I understand that the argument was there that, oh man, the way they took out Boba was ridiculous, but nobody really bitched about that till like the 90s. You know, like I don't think people were in the theaters in 87 going like, oh my God, how do you do that to Boba Fett? Like maybe, but I doubt it.
Well, I think it's because he wasn't in the trailer. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
You didn't have these extended shots of,
yes,
you know,
but like we said,
Boba Fett,
you know, built up Darth Maul, like he was the big baddie. Like, I mean, pre-movie coming out, you almost would have assumed he was the top of the food chain, that Palpatine wasn't even there, because it was like, oh my God, this whatever the hell this character is with the red shit on his face, like we've never seen that before. He's got to be the worst Sith Lord in the history of Sith Lords, and he wasn't even one. He was an apprentice, and then they kill him. So it just. I'm okay with killing him in Rebels because you needed to end that story somehow, but the way they did it was just incredibly bad.
Well, then since some of my stuff ties together, I'm going to jump to part of probably my biggest idea. I think you keep him around till the sequel trilogy, because I think if you've got Maul sitting there this whole time and people are like, well, where the hell's Maul? We know he's alive. Like, what the hell? And then you have this malevolent presence that just kind of gets referred to in the sequel trilogy. I think if you have Maul in there, like, I might as well just say it. One of my main ideas is to, again, this might be obvious, but it opens up so many doors. Eliminate Palpatine. Don't even bring Palpatine back into the story in the sequel trilogy. And to tie in with that, not only do you not bring back Palpatine, but you don't call it the Skywalker saga. Eliminate that term. Because as soon as they did that, all of a sudden it had to tie into the prequels and the original trilogy. You were painted into a box of what you could and couldn't do, because it has to be an addendum to this story. If you just say, hey, it's a new trilogy, and you have all the same characters and stuff and a lot of the same things happening, if you just introduce like Maul as this, you know, he's like the new emperor almost, like he's the sinister presence that no one's sure what the hell's going on. Like if he had come back, and if you had done a better job of, okay, there's bad guy here, but you know, like you don't even have to show him. You could have pulled a Luke Skywalker sequel trilogy move with him and only show him like the end of one movie or something like that. You still could have had like Snoke die. If you just kind of reference that Snoke's not the only person there, like that there might be more than one big bad guy. And then you can like do the Maul thing, like, holy shit, Maul has become so powerful. Like, that's why you keep him alive.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like, okay, so what do you think of this then? Like, okay, so Snoke still dies, and everyone thinks like, well, okay, we've wiped out the big malevolent force in the galaxy, but then like Rey still feels the malevolent force, and they go, oh, that wasn't the malevolent force that we just killed.
Right.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, at least then we, like, to John's point, if you just would have, like I said earlier, you shoot Maul off into space, or he goes into hiding or something, like, at least us at home.
Hitches a ride with the space whales and Thrawn.
Yeah. Whatever. And but like us at home when we're
there he goes. There he goes. That's how you get removed.
When we're watching episode 8 and Snoke is dead, but Rey feels that force, it makes us sit in the theater or sit at home and go, oh shit, like we never know what happened to Maul. Like, could that be it? You know, so it gives you that like build up inside going into episode 9, like, oh my god, like it could be Maul, like it could be Maul. So yeah, I could definitely ride with that.
Yeah, I think like tease it in, because you know you had Snoke moments in episode 7, so you could do that, but have it be kind of ambivalent,
right?
So that you're like, okay, well, is like, I don't know how, again, I can't really flesh this out, but you know, like have it be a little bit ambivalent. So then when, you know, he dies in episode 8, you're like, okay, but then you've got that, well, but what's really going on? And then, like you said, AJ, like have that, you know, she's got that feeling that something else is out there. Then that's when you really kind of bring it to the forefront. Oh my God, that's what's been going on all along, you know? So
So I just want to clarify something real quick here, JT.
Okay.
Did I get punted for bringing up the space whales or for retconning them into a decent purpose in the story?
Both. Because fuck space whales.
It doesn't matter if it's a good idea with space whales. Once it's space whales out.
Yeah, see, our buddy Joseph Wren, he mentioned space whales earlier, and I purposely didn't bring it up, you dick. He says, I second or fourth, keeping Maul alive throughout the prequels, make Vader his secret apprentice, breaking the rule of two, and to be clear, alive in one piece.
Yeah, right.
So kind of rehashing the whole Force Unleashed Starkiller thing, but making it Maul. Okay.
I actually have an idea that's kind of like that coming up later. So that's interesting that you mentioned that.
While you were talking, JT, I kind of like took your idea and I split it 2 times. You brought up the Skywalker thing, so this is just a real quick point. We talked about it before like episode 9 came out, and we talked about who's Rey, you know, and we were talking about the low-hanging fruit, saying that she was a Kenobi or whatever. One way we could have fixed Star Wars or rewritten it is completely avoiding the low-hanging fruit, period. She didn't need to be a Skywalker. She didn't need to be a Kenobi. She didn't need to be a Windu. She didn't need to be a Palpatine. Like, she could have just been Rey, and it would have been perfectly fine. Like, so I mean, there's no real like in-depth thing to that, but there was no need to throw that, especially when you're ending the saga after 9 movies. It's the end of the Skywalker thing, but she walks off into the sunset saying, I'm Rey Skywalker. Okay, so now it's obviously not done then. So like, you tell us there's closure to the Skywalker saga, yet you make her a Skywalker and send her off into the damn sunset and roll the credits. Yeah. Okay, so you're not done then. so there was just no need for that. You know? Yeah. Quick point.
Kale McLeish. Rey who? Rey Mysterio. Drop the 619 on everybody.
Yeah, right.
It'd be fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, so Weaver's got a good question, but I kind of have something. See, we're landing on a lot of what I came up with, because a lot of my stuff would tie into what we're talking about. And man, see,
well, I guess another quick one would be, and we covered it not that long ago, a few shows ago, the sequel trilogy also could have been perfectly fine by running with Snoke. Like, you could have killed a clone of Snoke in episode 8. There was no, and we've beat this one to death like a fucking dead horse. There was no need to bring Palpatine into 9. Like, you could have just rehashed Snoke and been like, yeah, that was one of the worthless clones. It still could have been Snoke, but like trying to shoehorn Palpatine back into that story and kind of not having it make any damn sense. Like, it would have been so much easier to be like, hey, we're cloning Palpatine. How about you just clone Snoke?
Well, I mean,
Palpatine's been dead for 40 years. Like, you could have it would have been so much easier to just do it with Snoke instead of trying to shoehorn a character in from the original trilogy for no reason other than to go, hey, look, original trilogy characters, come watch our movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because that's what it felt like.
Weaver's idea, perfect segue, Steve. He says, what are your guys' thoughts on Darth Plagueis being Snoke? I thought that would have been a great opportunity. Yeah, you could have done that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the fans would have loved it, because that Plagueis book is basically referred to as Episode 0.
Yep.
Among us super nerds. And
it's something that like they reference in episode 3, but then you never heard again throughout the course of Star Wars. So it's like,
but also, Steve, I mean, in the Plagueis book, the whole thing is like, he's the one that's working on cloning and trying to, cheat death and everything. So that immediately brings that in there, and it would make your idea completely plausible because it's already there as an idea.
Yeah, I mean, in so many words, awesome. Palpatine even said that too. That he was like, "Oh, somebody tried to do the. Have you heard the story of Darth Plagueis? Like it could have just been that simple." And honestly, there is definite moments where they drop the ball on this shit. Like, I don't want to crap on it too bad, but there is obvious points where it's like, you guys could have done better. and we should not be the ones coming up with this idea when there's a lot of people making 7-8 figures that are writing these goddamn movies.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of what I thought about kind of opens the door for more stories, and I tried to make it to where you're not rehashing things. Like, we've joked about, Starkiller Base is just a bigger Death Star, and it's, I mean, there was other things that they could do. And, like, for example, I would say, and I'll try and lead into my main one at the end here, but have Saw Gerrera actually survive Rogue One. Have him actually get off of Jedha. That was a weird
choice.
Yeah. It felt very weird, like in the movie too. I even sat there in the theater and I was like, wow, they're really killing him right now. Like you kind of, you know how you watch a movie and you kind of try to put the scenes together yourself as they play out. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it didn't make sense. You're just like, he'll get out of there. There's no way that he's okay. It's not. All right.
Well, and here's what you could do with it. So he's obviously a crazy militant idiot, and he keeps getting kookier and kookier as he goes. And we don't know how old he is. I mean, maybe we do, and I just don't know it. So, but this is my rewrite, so fuck it. Have him stick around until the sequel trilogy, and you basically have the sequel trilogy be where Ben Solo is, he's the one that starts the First Order. So they're all like super militant and everything, and he's leading this thing. And Leia is like having to battle, this new force again, like she was battling the Empire, and she's basically kind of come out of like, rebellion retirement to do this.
Right, yeah.
And the First Order is so effed up that she needs help beyond just normal freedom fighters, and she has to band together with Saw Gerrera and his followers, these completely just like way out there, this completely like militia arm of whatever. And so it's Leia with her, okay, I want to fight, but I want to do it the right way. And Saw Gerrera, who's like, I'm going to chop off their nuts and, nail it to the wall type of thing and send a message. And so she's got to band together with Saw Gerrera, and that's what creates, the new resistance. And and you've got some tension there. So, because you've got Saw's beliefs and Leia's beliefs and stuff. So that would be cool. And then, like I say, and then if you don't kill off Maul, then you've got Maul and you've floating around. You've still got Ben Solo floating around.
Yeah.
And then it's a different sort of a story. It's similar, but there's different pressure points, I think, if you do that. So that would be, a way to make it, I think, at least a little bit more unique.
It would be more consistent with Saw's character too, because
that's what I thought too.
No pun intended, as you saw, but the dude's missing body parts. Like, he never stops fighting. Like, no matter what happens to the guy, he gets back up and gets even crazier and fights even harder. Mm-hmm. So for him to just like see this thing on the horizon, and be like, all right, peace. I'm just going to take this one on the chin, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, he just takes one more hit off of the offensive. He just takes one more hit off of the chest thing. All right.
Yeah. No.
Plus, who knows how that would have screwed up the rest of the Rogue One story? That would have been really interesting to see that too, if he like actually ended up back at Yavin 4.
Yeah. Or I mean, you don't even have to show it. Just show something that makes it look like he escaped, and you're not sure. And then again, like Maul, you just know, you could say he's out there, and the explanation is, well, you didn't know if he escaped or not. Well, obviously he escaped. And I mean, it's kind of lazy writing, I suppose, but at least you could do it so he's there as a character to use. And the explanation of why he's not there during the original trilogy, you just say, well, he's such a militant asshole. If I say that word militant one more effing time, come up with a different word, you jerk off. He's such an extremist that the Rebel Alliance is like, get the hell out of here. They already said that in Rogue One. Mon Mothma already said it. So the story beat is already there. To where if you introduce him in the sequel trilogy again, and then people say, where the hell was he, for 4, 5, and 6? Well, Mon Mothma said it. He's an extremist. They don't want him near this crap. But now things have gotten so dire that Leia has to bring this guy in.
Yeah. And then you don't have to change. Different. then you don't have to change much through episode 9 either. Like, because
That
we
would've been
brought
really
up
cool, yeah.
like we brought up like what you said, and we add in the fact that Snoke was a clone and all that. Like, you don't have to change much of that story because you're still gonna have Ben, who already turned his back on Snoke in 8. So you still got him and Rey doing the thing on one side against Snoke, but you'd still have Leia and Guerrera doing their thing, trying to take down the First Order at the same time. So you really wouldn't have to have messed with too much of the story of episode 9 to do exactly what we just mentioned.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it eliminates the whole somehow Palpatine returned.
Yeah, right.
It's Maul's been out there the whole time type of thing, or
right,
like the Plagueis thing. Like it's if we did that route, I mean,
eliminate Palpatine and just leave Snoke, eliminate the Knights of Ren, insert Maul, and you can still tell the same damn story with Rey and Ben going against him.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it seems like all my stuff is surrounding the sequel trilogy, but I wanted stuff that would kind of tie in, so like Saw Gerrera and everything. My main idea was to have Kylo Ren come out victorious at the end of 9. Don't give us the happy ending. Completely throw it on its ear. Just be like, okay, Kylo Ren slaughters everybody, and it's basically like the end of episode 3. But it's way cooler because the end of episode 3 we knew had to be dark and everything, because you know what happens.
Right.
He becomes Darth Vader. But if you set everybody up for this big confrontation where Kylo Ren is the new big bad guy. Let's say we're going with Kylo Ren as the big bad guy. And then you're like, okay, well, we know how this works. Movies always work this way. The good guy comes out on top. No, flip it on its ear. The bad guy comes out on top. Then everybody's like,
I wouldn't be mad at that.
What the hell did I just see? And then that opens up. It opens up more stories after that, doesn't it? Because you're like, well, wait a minute.
Kind of do the same thing because he's doing the pro wrestling term. He's doing the face turn, taking out the Knights of Ren, so they're not getting in his way. Helps Rey kill Snoke or Palpatine or whatever, and then, like you said, when the movie is getting ready to end, because oh my God, look, the two bad guys or the two good guys won. You just ultimately have Ben turn on Rey at the end and go, haha, double heel turn, bitch. Okay,
well, but see, but now here's what I thought you could do as a follow-up. Like I say, having him win would open up the story to go all these other different places, because you're like, okay, well, now what? Now we're plunged into darkness
and
again.
The Skywalker saga would have been done because Rey would have been gone.
Right.
So,
I mean,
the closest thing to a Skywalker saga would have been the fact that Ben is the offspring of Leia. Like, that would have been it, but it doesn't have to be the Skywalker saga. Now it's the Solo saga, if you even want to go that far with it, but you still would have accomplished the point of Skywalker saga being done too.
See, I say keep the Knights of Ren around. And, a couple people in the chat mentioned it, break the rule of 2. Ben Solo does his research, Kylo Ren, and he's like, well, back in the day, there were a shitload of Jedi. Why does there only have to be 2 Sith? Like, no one's as powerful as I am. The Knights of Ren, he basically, like, they talk about Luke starting a new Jedi order.
Right.
Kylo Ren can start a Sith order. They don't have to all be Sith. It's just an order of dark side users. And then, then it could be, you could kind of have Rey out there ambiguously, like, she's been defeated, maybe not killed. Like, everybody's dead, but hers, you don't know. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, then you've got this thing to open up where then you can bring back the Jedi Order. But then instead of having it be like the Jedi Order against like 2 Sith, you've got like an army of Jedi, an army of dark side users. You could build this massive climactic thing. Mm-hmm. It's wide open, and and they haven't done that, so it's just a story that hasn't been told.
Right.
And again, I like the idea of the, you want to slit your wrist ending in episode 9, because they never do that.
Right.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. Like, if you ever seen the Stephen King movie, The Mist, I absolutely love the ending of that. And people they're like, that's a great movie, but then the ending sucks. I'm like, no, the ending is brilliant. For those of you that haven't seen it, basically they're stuck in a grocery store. There's a mist. There's aliens in it, whatever. And they finally go to leave, and they're in the mist, and they're trying to drive and see how far the mist goes. And it's this guy and his son and 2 other people. So it's 4 of them in the car, and they finally run out of gas. They're stuck in the mist in this car, and they're like, well, we're just going to die anyway. And the guy's got a gun with 3 bullets. So it shows the car, and basically the guy shoots everybody but himself. So he has to kill his own little kid. and you're like, oh my God, he just killed his own kid. And then all of a sudden the mist breaks and
Damn,
the army
that's
comes
dark.
through and he killed the kid like seconds before everything comes to an end.
Yep.
Like the mist breaks and the military is actually starting to like, rescue people. So he basically killed his kid for nothing. It's the darkest ending ever, but it is awesome.
It is
awesome. And
it's a way
Star
darker.
Wars, like,
it's a way darker equivalent to the Twilight Zone episode where the guy was by himself. It was just him in the books, and then he broke his glasses. It's like that same feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like that dark ending would be so un-Star Wars. It would be unique.
Yeah.
It would be something different. And again, the story wouldn't have to end there. It opens up this.
Well, I think that's the problem. Is
your
your premise of a dark ending is it's predicated on there's more movies coming after this.
Well,
And
but they don't
Disney
have
didn't
to.
want to do that for some reason.
Well, okay, but again, that's why it leaves it open. Like Solo left it open for more movies, but they're not doing that because they're a bunch of stupid dickheads. But
Yeah, but
we
they didn't
add
leave that one
to the
hanging where the
list.
bad
Let's
guys
just purely add Solo 2 to the list. Can we just put that on our how to fix Star Wars?
Oh, yes.
There's our rewrites.
Yes.
There's our rewrites. Solo 2. Man, so all right, so we had some good stuff in the chat here. So Kale McLeish was chiming in on the mall thing. He says this is a long one. Sorry, that's what she
Holy
said.
crap.
There's actually
Steve's
a lot of
basically
great.
off the show.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of great rewrites of the prequels online that keep Maul alive, and they always go to very different places. I still kind of like AJ's idea of Anakin defeating Maul, just I think it needs to fall in a different way. Maul takes Anakin's arm, but it's after taking his master as well. It makes Anakin's fall almost entirely at Maul's hand when you realize Sidious was orchestrating every single step. Makes Vader even more of a tragedy when Anakin thought he was his friend. Yep. Joseph Wren, this is an interesting one. It hurts me to suggest this, and I'll leave the details of how the hell this happens, quote unquote, to you guys. Captain Phasma equals Sabine Wren, and she's the spy.
Boy, that's a couple leapfrogs right there, but I like it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm intrigued.
it makes Phasma important, and
Yeah.
it makes her not die like a chump in Last Jedi.
She's another character. I mean, she got Boba Fetted. It's like you see this Chrome Stormtrooper, you're like, this is badass, and then even less screen time.
Yep.
Like, what the hell is that? Like, why even do that? Why make somebody so cool and then just off them?
I remember the very first trailer for 7 when it came out, when she got introduced, and we didn't even know it was a she at that point. I just remember going, dude, that's a badass trooper right there. I don't know what the hell that is, but that's badass. And like you said, they literally made her worse than Boba Fett. Like she had no point to the entire saga. Like she was as important as Stormtrooper number 7 in the damn background, dude. Like
Right.
it was an awful way to do her character like that.
See, there's a rewrite. Stop doing the goddamn trailers with the really cool looking characters if they're not going to be in the movie for anything that matters. Just have it be like a really cool reveal. Like, don't ever show them in the trailer. All of a sudden, like, this all chrome stormtrooper shows up, and you're like, "Oh my god, that's awesome!" And then she dies after a few seconds. You're like, "Yeah, all right, well, no, it wasn't invested in that." Instead, you've got like teaser trailers and full trailers and Phasma everywhere, and she's in the marketing, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is so cool. We've never seen this." And then. Like, what the hell is that? Cut it out. Like, stop with that shit, will you? Enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're not throwing anybody off the scent of your story. You're just making us angry. Knock it off.
Yeah. Hey, look at this. Kale's got a good one, man. Rewrite. Don't have Sidious's message be part of Fortnite and then not be part of the film.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very true.
Yep.
Some of us aren't gamers.
Yeah.
Right.
I hate missing a crucial piece of Star Wars content because I'm not playing Fortnite.
Right. Weaver, Phasma's a bit too tall, though, right? Boot extensions. My friend.
We just got to be careful, guys. I have a feeling if they announce another movie at Celebration, we're going to all have to start playing Rocket League in case some sort of bulletin goes out on that thing.
Right? Like
Minecraft.
John and I have spent years bitching about the fact that we don't want to read the books and the comic books, and now you're telling me I got to play the DLC content for the new Call of Duty to know what the fuck happened in episode 9.
Like, it's not even a Star Wars thing. If it was in a Star Wars game of some kind, at least it's kind of tied in.
Yeah,
no,
right?
It's just like, hey, a random game. Here you go.
Was it like Clank and whatever that
Rocket and Clank?
Yeah,
Ratchet and Clank. Yeah.
yeah,
Ratchet
okay,
and Clank.
yeah. You got that in there. Like, what the shit? Really?
Dude, why do I got to download the DLC for Goat Simulator to know what happens in the new trilogy?
Goat Simulator. The goddamn goats like hopping around and everything, and then he had these, and then all of a sudden you hear this. I have never been away. What the hell was that? Is that goat talking like Darth Sidious? What the hell's going on? All these non-Star Wars fans are like, why is my goat talking like some guy with throat cancer? And then all the Star Wars fans that don't have Goat Simulator are like, where the shit did this come from when they get to the theater? And then they hear people bullshitting like, oh, that's from Goat Simulator. What the fuck is that? Goat Simulator? Like, what?
You just see us goat ragdolling into the scene, and he just takes out Palpatine in episode 9.
I was gonna say,
Just yeets him right off a cliff.
that cliff that Palpatine threw Ben Solo off of or whatever into that pit in episode 9. Like the Emperor walks the edge and goes, "Now I am all the Sith," and then this goat comes out of nowhere and rams him right in the ass and knocks him in, and the goat's like, "Meh, I'm the Sith." Meh. Like, so the true dark side Lord is a goat.
It goes meh and blinks, and then it's got like the Darth Maul eyes.
Exactly.
And then the credits.
Yeah, and all the dummies that love the Maul death and Rebels are like, see, man, it doesn't suck that a goat is the evil Sith Lord. You know why it's awesome? Because a goat is symbolic for the devil, and that's the most evil person you can have. Like, shut the fuck up! Go away! You suck at Star Wars. Like,
the goat symbolizes the devil. Oh my god!
That's our best rewrite we've done. A goat is the evil Sith Lord because it represents the devil.
There's just a pentagram and stuff on the ground, and all these fire and shit starts coming around everybody.
The goat's name is Beelzebub, but they spell it all weird like Star Wars.
I love it when our show goes off the rails. Kale McLeish, rewrite. Elon Musk buys Goat Simulator and deletes it.
Kale, you can't do away with the evil Sith Lord. There's so many movies to be mined there.
No, you know how the
Elon Musk came up with 44. Elon Musk came up with $44 billion and bought the Sith.
Yeah, yeah.
No, the evil goat Sith meets his end by tripping over Geode.
There you go. There's a way to introduce him to the movie franchise. Damn goat trips on a rock and falls down the same pit that he just yeeted Palpatine down.
Right?
It's just a continuous line of people just like kicking the next. It's like the WWE 24/7 championship. Just people continuously knocking the other assholes into the pit.
I am the Sith Lord now.
And Ewok comes up there. You got a fucking porg. Oh my god, Geode, that would be the best. That's the thing. That's it. The evil Sith Lord was not Palpatine. It was the chair. Geode was carved into a chair, so the actual chair was the Sith Lord because it was a sentient chair.
And if we learned anything, he was a sexually frustrated giant chair too. So.
That's why he was happy that Palpatine was sitting on him. He had a ball bag on him at all times. It's like, well, at least I'm getting
what we
something.
didn't know is that the seat portion of the chair was actually Geode's face the entire time.
Hey, we never saw where that giant hook apparatus actually connected to the back of Palpatine. So.
Right. See, I'm just picturing it being Geode's face and the Emperor leaning over, just ripping Major ass. Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, you find out that the chair is actually sentient, and then Palpatine just leans over and he's like, and you're like, oh, dude, he just farted on that guy.
You're thinking about that. I'm just thinking about that episode of Family Guy where they had the girl at the house or whatever, and Quagmire was trying to be her chair at the dinner table.
Yeah, right. Look, Weaver's being all serious. Give us a second to get back on topic, Weaver. We're rolling here. Kale McLeish. So if there's a Sith goat, does it just bleat the Imperial March? Oh my god!
No, but it would have been funny to see the goat get into an argument with Hux at some point during the movie. Hux is just screaming at him, and then they just cut back to the goat, and it's just got that blank stare on his face. And, right. Then Hux takes a step forward, and the goat just falls over and plays dead for a minute.
Hux just eventually wins because he holds out an ice cream cone filled with pellets, like it's a petting zoo on the bridge of the starship. Oh my god! All right, so back to reality here. So Weaver says. A rewrite. I think in the prequels, the Separatists should use clones, and the Republic uses conscripted soldiers. No droids, huh? I don't really see that as very different from the way it already is, though, Weaver. I'll be honest. It's just a couple of armies, you know?
So yeah, I'm curious. Follow up on this one. So how does that end up becoming the Empire then? Because the Republic becomes the Empire. So if the Separatists were the ones using clones, how does the Empire end up using? Because your follow up question, your follow up comment is that you think it's dumb that the Empire stopped using clones with no explanation. So can you wrap those two together?
Let's see. That's a question for you, Weaver, by the way, if you can tie those together. But we can try. I mean the whole way that Order 66 happened was because the clones were programmed. So, I mean, would you just still have the clones be programmed no, because the Separatists wouldn't be trying to start the Empire. Yeah, so I mean, how are you going to get Order 66 to go through? You know, to actually turn on the Jedi and everything. I mean, that would be a difficult order. So Weaver says the conscripted soldiers turn into stormtroopers and the Empire destroys the cloning technology. I could see that. Again, it doesn't answer the Order 66 question, though. I mean, because somehow you've got to get to the point where they overturn everything. So, all right. Well, he says I was thinking that chips can still be implanted in the conscripts. I know it's kind of a goofy idea. I mean, you could. I mean, if you want to do that, I mean, you could say that.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord knows during the pandemic they figured out a way to inject us with microchips when we took the vaccine for COVID. So that's a joke, everybody. By the way, I was just joking with current events. So
I thought it was our 5G phones doing it.
Yeah.
Well, how do you think our phones have 5G? AJ, figure that out.
I don't actually, because of that actually.
Human beings are.
I didn't want to get COVID. That's why I didn't get 5G.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess if you go back to Solo, I mean, they were just taking random people and saying, "Hey, come join the Empire." So, I mean, it could have just been part of the recruiting process before they took them out. Like, hey, it's like how our military shaves their heads. Like, they just go, "Here you go, sit in this chair, throw the chip in them," you know, and you could still have Order 66, I guess. So, right.
Joseph Wren.
So, okay,
I've got who's trolling, JT? I'm not trolling. I'm just making a comment because it was funny. It was topical. I'm not trolling. I don't troll. I hate that. It just looks like I am. All right, sorry, AJ, go ahead.
All right, so I've got a serious one. It's kind of a rewrite, kind of not.
Okay.
I still don't understand the origin of the clone army. That was so poorly explained. Like, could they please have done that better? Like, I don't actually get if like it was created with good intentions behind the Jedi's back by Sifo Dyas, or if he was actually working for the Sith at the time.
I don't know. Is that a rewrite, or so much do we just want them to tell us that story?
Well, that would be the rewrite, is actually explaining it better. Because I don't get it.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
I still don't.
Yeah, I was
it's
going to
so
say, I'm
vague.
like, they half-assed told that story. Told that story. But like, then there's never like a final explanation to what the hell Sifo Dyas was doing. So yeah, just finishing that story would have technically, been a rewrite to the originally what we saw on screens. So yeah, that definitely would have been nice.
Like, wasn't Dooku working with him or something in that whole deal? Sifo Dyas and Dooku had some kind of a relationship. I think they mentioned it in the Clone Wars or something.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing something.
Yeah, like I think the story's out there somewhere, but it's not one of those.
But it's still not clear if, based on the timeline, if Dooku was still with the Jedi Order when all this went down, or if he had already broken away.
Yeah,
because the whole thing with Dooku is that he's still like the leader of his planet, Serrano.
All right.
He's like an aristocrat, or like somehow holding power there. I think he runs the planet or whatever. So outside of being a Sith or a Jedi, he was still like, in charge of a planet. So he still had some sway.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's just weird. It's muddy.
Well,
I feel like it's one of those, what that to me feels like one of those things where in George Lucas's mind, it makes perfect sense. And he just forgot to put the details out there for the audience to follow along.
Well, according to Wikipedia, it says Sifo Dyas was a male human Jedi master who served the Jedi Order during the last decades of the Galactic Republic. When the Sith were revealed to have returned during the invasion of Naboo in 32 BBY, Master Sifo Dyas secretly commissioned the creation of a clone army, placing an order with the Kaminoan, however you want to pronounce it, government before he was betrayed and murdered by his friend Count Dooku. So, okay.
So I wonder if Dooku knew he had done that. Plus, boy, the balls on that guy. He just marches up and goes, the Republic wants a whole army. Can you get on that, please? It's totally legit. Totally legit.
How are you paying for this? Company credit card.
Yeah.
Sorry, company credits card.
Yeah. I got the MX Black. Here you go.
Does it really matter? I'm just going to write it off next year anyways.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I would have to go through and read this, but I'm not going to do it while we're on the air. But yeah, I honestly, I've always thought that whole thing could be like its own movie. Like a prequel.
I would love that, actually. That'd be fantastic.
I mean, and if we're talking about the whole Plagueis thing, I mean that we could tie that in. You could introduce Plagueis or Snoke in that and kind of make it, because I mean Sifo Dyas is in the Plagueis novel, so you could introduce that stuff and then just use it later. So
we're great at writing Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Why aren't we at Celebration again? Yeah, so Weaver expanding on his idea, he says, I don't think the Jedi would willingly use a quote-unquote slave army that is bred for war. Interesting thought.
So he's saying the clones never made sense in the first place. Interesting. Okay.
But
yeah,
they did say that they were losing their way at that point, though. So maybe,
yeah.
I understand that you could. The way that the Jedi should act would say that, but the fact that they were all kind of shitting the bed around the Clone Wars says they might have been desperate too.
Yeah, I mean, he says it would give the Republic some moral high ground over the Separatists who abuse the clones, and then we could have a Finn-type character in the prequels. Kale disagrees and says they don't use a slave army; they use a forced volunteer army. Okay?
They use a prisoners with jobs army.
Yeah.
Yes.
Weaver, you know what I would say to that, man? I would say that I think it is more of a Jedi thing to do, because with a conscript army, you're talking about people with free will and everything, whereas the clones are specifically made to not live that long. They're just made to fight and do what they're told. And,
Right. It's like, I'm not going to go out and hunt chickens, but I will gladly, buy a bag of chicken breasts.
Right.
Nice. So yeah, I think it actually, they don't want to actually have people that are, there of their own free will and all this other stuff. So I think that's like a question of, well, we need an army and we need as many as we can get all the time because we're trying to stave off like, the whole galaxy falling into darkness or whatever. So we need as many soldiers as we can get, and they just got to do their job. And if they get mowed down, what the hell ever. So I think that's why they did it.
Guys, you know what we haven't come across yet?
What?
A rewrite for the original trilogy.
I tried coming up with something, and I didn't think of anything.
Are we just homers for our childhood that badly? Like, Boba Fett getting a better death scene is the only thing we came up with.
Yeah,
and that doesn't even matter now because he's alive anyway.
Give Boba Fett a better death scene. Make Luke less of a whiny baby during the training with Yoda. So let's move on. We rewrote the original trilogy. Let's go.
See, Kale's got the only thing people I think would really bring up is no Ewoks. Maybe I think you know what I was thinking about that. AJ is that I think like the original trilogy is like kind of like the keystone of the franchise. Like everything, stems from those three movies. So if you change something, it's almost like the butterfly effect. Like how much will it change around it? And there's not really a lot that, I mean, you can't, there's no glaring moment that really stands out in the original trilogy where you go, well, that sucked. It's just not there. And so, I mean, believe me, I was trying because, my stuff is so sequel trilogy dependent, and it, kind of like it's about expanding other stories around the original trilogy, but there's not that one thing where you're just like, oh, that's crap.
Yeah. Yeah. Most of what we're talking about, even with the prequels, relates back to how it could have paid off better in future movies.
Yeah.
Porkins would have been eating when he died.
If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out with a sub sandwich in my gullet.
Yeah. he's like mowing some drive-through. He's talking with food in his mouth.
Damn.
I can hold it. I can hold it.
He doesn't even get blown up. He actually is just doing the trench run, and he's choking on some fast food and just strokes out and crashes into the Death Star.
Or he drops something on the floor and he's leaning over to try and pick it up, and just fat belly just smashes the stick and just like nosedives and just. Yeah. He nosedives into the Death Star because he's trying to pick up like a chip.
You just see him flying perfectly fine, and then just goes whoop. like he fell off a fucking roller coaster, just straight down. Like,
better yet, keep the line the same. I can hold it. Basically, what happened is his Coke slid off of the dashboard, and he's trying to catch it like this. He's like, I can hold it, and that's when his belly like.
No, he's got the French fry like in his in his fingertips, like reaching. You know when you're trying to pick something up off the floor of your car and you got it by your fingertips. Like, yeah. I can hold it.
It wouldn't even require a rewrite.
Then you just
the
see
dialogue's all the same.
He just crashes. You just see the TIE pilot. They cut to that scene where the camera's looking directly at him. You just see him go.
Oh,
he just peeks down like, huh?
Damn it, Porkins! I told you to quit eating at the wheel.
Was that your big one, John? That was the one you were saving to the end of the show.
That was my big one was Porkins dying from fast food. That was my big reveal. Kale McLeish says, I think more of a real one is an unwrite. Drop the special edition cantina and the stupid no on Death Star 2. I am going to completely disagree with you there, Kale, because I find those to be they don't change the story at all. By the way, what's wrong with the cantina?
The Jabba's palace thing, not the cantina. I think he's talking about Joe Yowza. He wants to cancel Joe Yauza. Block him. Block him. He's done.
We only block for space whale talk. We can't.
Yeah. Or saying the world between worlds was a good idea. Yeah. I mean, see, Kale, my thinking on the special editions is like it's just added graphics. Yeah. Oh, there he's. Oh no, he says. He says, I mean the cantina. F Garrido. Yeah, I mean, there's like four different.
He's a diehard Han shot firster. Got it.
Yeah. I'm okay. I mean, I'll go along with that with you. I just, you know, where the special editions are concerned, I've said a lot that to me it's just added graphics. It's not.
It pretty much is, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't change the story. So,
so you saw Han step on Jabba's tail. Okay,
yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah. Oh, here he goes.
Oh, that was actually one of mine, Steve.
Yeah.
One of mine was another unwrite, which is take out the Docking Bay 94 scene.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
So you got
I thought
that?
Jabba's reveal in Return of the Jedi was way more impactful when you didn't know what he looked like first.
I completely agree.
Plus,
Kale
they
says,
clearly admit that like a lot of that stuff is kind of repeated in the Greedo scene because they filmed the Greedo scene and wrote that stuff like after they decided to take out the Jabba scene.
Wow.
So
okay.
a lot of the stuff that gets relayed in those two scenes about Han and, you know, Jabba being pissed at him and everything, it's repetitive. It doesn't need to be there.
Kale also wants the good songs back in Return of the Jedi, so that's good.
Yub nub. Yes.
Yeah, yep. But yeah, AJ, I mean, to your point, yeah, that Jabba scene is pretty pointless. I completely agree with you that Jabba's reveal is way cooler. So I think if they had left that Jabba scene in A New Hope, then I mean, first of all, they would have had to have, it wouldn't be the Jabba that we know because it was filmed with a human. So you'd have this fat dude sitting on a, you know, like what good is that? Like Jabba the Hutt, the reason it was so cool is because he was a giant slug and this guy's like a big ass alien. So he was actually scary. Whereas, you know, freaking, if it was the guy they had originally cast, you're like, okay, it's some fat, slovenly, lazy guy. Like that's just the normal, like bad guy. Like what that's, you know, it was cooler to have him just be this like nasty slug thing. So that was one of the products of the short budget and production was I just watched a video Star Wars Explained put out about the evolution of Jabba, and that original guy was never meant to make the screen. It was just a placeholder until they could reshoot it or green screen in something better. So they didn't have the slug thing figured out yet, but they didn't think that it would be like somebody with a giant tail that Han couldn't walk around. So yeah, the whole thing was just, I mean, the fact that there's like a bunch of Greedos sitting there, because it was just like a dry run, I guess. Like, I don't think they intended to have like 3 Greedos in the scene, especially given the fact that he just got killed. Yeah. No, I'll give that to you. Look at Steel Brony. Why are you capitalizing every word? Is this your buddy, Steve?
It is. And I know why he capitalized every word, because he copy and pasted it off the internet somewhere.
Oh, I'm not reading that copy and paste crap. Damn you, Steel Brony. And we're not talking about why Jedi are evil. They're not evil. That's wrong. Screw the internet. The same person that wrote that and capitalized every word is probably the same person who immediately defended frickin' the Maul death. Yeah. Space whales, Maul, the frickin' World Between Worlds. It's all the same guy. Well, all right. Joseph Wren says, you haven't rewritten the original trilogy because you haven't come up with a good reason to keep Obi-Wan alive. Are you saying that you wanted to keep Obi-Wan alive?
His death was a necessary loss.
Yeah. I mean, what they keep him alive, but then he still shows up on Hoth and stuff. Like he's just getting older and older. He's like absolutely decrepit. Luke, you gotta go to Dagobah, little green guy. What the hell, Ben? Go to the hospital. No, fine, I'm fine. And then Return to the Jedi, he's just basically nothing.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely like just pure crap. And then Yoda turns into
vegetable Obi-Wan.
yeah. He watches Yoda turn into the Force, transform into the Force, and he's like, God damn it, I wish I could do that already. Oh my God, this sucks. What the hell? He's like, Luke, you got the Force. Can you Force choke me? Ben, Jesus, I'm not Kevorkian. Like,
Again in front of company?
see, I don't get it. We have such good content. Why are we not at Celebration? I don't understand.
Doesn't
My
make
God.
any sense.
This would be awesome at Celebration. F-bombs and goats representing Satan being the evil Sith Lord. A sentient rock being a chair and having his face farted on. That is good family wholesome entertainment for a Lucasfilm sponsored event through Reed Pop at the Anaheim Convention Center.
Yeah, I don't see any issues with it.
I swear, and we'll get out of here pretty soon because I think we're running low on ideas, but I swear, if we ever made the podcast stage, it would be so worth it to me just to get up there and the very first thing out of my mouth would just be like, oh, strap in, fuckers, just to see how long it would take someone to boot us.
Right. Just
right
torch
out of
it.
that, just right out of the room, if not out of Celebration entirely. And that would
First
be
people to get served a C&D while on stage at a Star Wars event.
right. that we'll just tell them we're going to talk about why Star Wars is wholesome for kids, and instead we'll go up there and just destroy all the ideas we hate, like the space whales and A World Between Worlds and Maul and Obi-Wan's death and all this horrible crap. And like, what the hell was Claude? What the F was Claude? What was that?
Good morning, everybody. We got trashed with Darth Maul last night. Speaking of Darth Maul, that fucking death in Rebels, really?
Yeah. Just bust out a bottle of Jack and smack it down. Yeah.
You just hear a fucking record scratch in the back of Celebration.
Just reach into our bag and pull out a bottle of booze and start yanking off it while we're doing it too. Right. So we're getting completely schnockered while just being ridiculously offensive. That would be amazing. That would be so amazing. Like how much shit can we spew before getting booted? Dump out! Dump out!
Well, damn it! Why do we have them live stream on the Verizon Wireless stage? Son of a bitch!
It's simulcast to other stages.
Wonder why those guys are putting a timer on the table, and well, you guys will find out soon enough.
Oh my God. That would be so much fun. It's like, oh my God, my wife would be like, why are you back so soon? Weren't you supposed to podcast for an hour? It's been 7 minutes. We got our podcast in. Don't you worry. It's the single greatest episode of the Nerf Herder Council ever. We would set up our live stream just from the back of the room and not tell anybody, so that as we're getting booted, like, we have our phones be the microphone somehow. So as we're getting booted from Celebration, it's still live on our channel. Like everybody's seeing it. It's like 11 in the morning and people are tuning in and watching us just getting like hurried off the stage and pushed around by the Celebration lackeys.
Hey, maybe that's our new idea. Instead of podcasting from the bathroom at Celebration, we'll go to the Celebration podcast stage and we'll just sit in the front row and do a show while everybody else is doing theirs. Just talk over them.
They're bullshitting and we're in the back like, man, I fucking hate space whales. That was the dumbest idea ever. Or just
Sattler and Waldorf from just heckling the whole damn time.
Exactly.
Do like a live react to their podcast.
I was just going to say that. Our whole episode, we'll have like 4 episodes a day. It'll be us commentarying, like we're a commentary track on everybody else's show. Like we'll get to the father and son show, and the little kid will be talking like, this goddamn dingbat doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. I don't care if he is 9 years old. Get this kid off the stage, for Christ's sakes. He can't even pronounce Coruscant. It's like Jake Lord. Coruscant. Go away.
Like, I don't think this guy's a very good father. Just saying. if his parenting is anything like his podcasting, he sucks.
And on to our next subject: why abortion should be legal till 12 years old. So,
Jesus Christ, dude, I love the commentary idea. Like everyone else's, these shows are broadcasting from Celebration, and we're just totally ruining their show. You know, it'd be even better because they have all these rows of chairs set up, and like they'll be like half filled. We'll just purposely sit all the way in the back so that we're like sticking out like a sore thumb, just talking and like holding up our phones and recording it. It'll be like, yeah, man, this guy, man, this guy is such an a-hole, man. By the way, you're tuned into the Nerf Herder Council. We mention that every few minutes so they know exactly what we're doing. Can you believe what this asshole just said? God damn it. No. It's one of those ideas I'm picturing so vividly in my head. I can't stop laughing at it.
All right, I think we're about spent on this topic, huh?
I know.
I don't even want to get back to it.
I know. I just picture us in there. They say something. We just go, wrong. That's not how it happened. Wrong. We're just completely.
Whenever they try to call us out, we just turn around and be like, no. We're doing our own podcast over here. It's nothing to do with them.
Yeah. just tell them, quit interrupting our show.
Yeah. Guys, can you keep it down? Excuse me, we're podcasting. All right. Yeah. Can you fucking move over there somewhere, please? All right. You're just nudging them away.
So we're going to have to ask you to leave.
You're just,
shh, there's a podcast going on.
Do you mind, sir?
I'm just picturing this, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, would I be willing to piss away Saturday and Sunday at Celebration by going to someone's podcast at like 2 p.m. on Saturday? And if they're like, yeah, we're going to have to ask you to not come back to Celebration for the rest of the weekend.
Worth it.
That's when you just queue up the closing titles score on your phone. So as soon as they boot you out, you just go.
I love this idea so much.
This is a great segue into our next show because our next one's May 11th, and that's our Celebration preview.
Holy shit.
As they're escorting you out of the building, you're like, can I use the bathroom really quick? I gotta go. And then just go in there and just go live again from the bathroom. Just lock yourself in the stall. All right, guys, so we're back, right?
You're like, what the fuck, man? Ezra Bridger did it in Rebels.
Exactly. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, my throat hurts, and I got to sing this weekend. Holy shit. Oh, my God. Yep, there's Kaylee. It says, May 11th is going to be the How Do We Get Booted planning special. And then he says, you need to live stream this entire thing. I'm telling you, man, I would be severely tempted to do so. I could you imagine the shit we would catch from like every other Star Wars show ever? Oh, my God.
I mean,
that, just be the assholes
the majority
with, like,
really don't like
times.
us already anyways. So.
Right. Yeah, AJ, let's walk around with a GoPro all the time. It's just like, it'll be our live stream. Just the other part of it will be walking up to little kids and going, your cosplay sucks. And then just walking away. just find kids with the junket. Just these poor kids with their cardboard X-Wings and stuff.
You act like you're nice. Hey, can I talk to you real quick about your costume and stuff? We're gonna get like a camera over here. So yeah.
You're on a podcast.
Then you get in front of him. You're like, hey, little guy, did your parents even fucking try when they did this, or like? Like, you know, your parents don't love you, right? That's why they paraded you out here like this.
I know we can't, but I just wish people had a sense of humor these days. Because if you think about it, like, I know it's dark, but it's pretty funny if you picture somebody trying to do that as their show. Like, what did you do at Celebration? Oh, I went around ripping on little kids for their shitty costumes. I shattered their
We're
Star
starting
Wars
to get
dreams.
some. We're starting to get some next level participation in the show. Check this out.
Oh. The goat meme. If you only knew the true power of Darth Vader.
Thank you to Joseph Wren for that.
Thank you, Joseph Wren. Kale McLeish, I'm laughing my ass off. See, Kale, we haven't quite gone off the rails like this in a while, but if you go back in our archives, there's a few of them, and man, sometimes I just can't get that idea in my head of live commentarying other people's podcasts at full volume while they're podcasting. It's like
constantly yelling at them to stop bothering our podcast.
Yeah. Can you turn down the volume, please? Like, we're getting more of you on our show than us.
If you could turn down the house speakers a skosh for me, please. Could you do that?
A skosh.
You're here. You need to be here. Okay, can we do that for us? We're a little busy back here.
Just get up in the middle. Man, this show sucks. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go to like the vegetable carving panel. Fuck this.
I forgot about the vegetable carving. Holy shit.
Dude, that's
God.
one of the most popular panels they have. I love it. It seems like it wouldn't be, and yet it definitely is. Oh, there's all right. Kale says it. I remember the David Prowse episode you sent me.
I didn't say anything.
That is, man. I know it's bad,
Come on,
especially
man.
now because he passed away. But that is one of the funniest things. That way to go.
My camera's doing awesome here.
Yeah. Well.
Okay,
Buy a
there's focus. There we go.
Man, I don't know why it does that, but yeah, that David Prowse thing it ended up being brutal, but we didn't mean it to be. But holy crap, was that funny?
Yeah, we didn't mean it to be.
Yeah, we were only mean to generic people tonight, not specific people. So
Yes,
we've clearly grown up over the years.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh my God. All right. Well, on that
wouldn't
note,
go that far.
yeah. on that note, why don't we close up?
I did just make an abortion joke 10 minutes ago. So.
True. One last thing, and then we'll go. So that's one
Make
thing
that kind
we
of
could do.
emotion in the Senate where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Oh, damn. That's two topical jokes tonight. Oh my God. If they ever have like the writer, the Rebels writer that wrote that Maul Obi-Wan stuff, it would be awesome to like bring like $500 cash and walk up to one of the dudes, like, they'll ask questions of the audience in the panel, just hand the guy $500 and be like, dude, let me ask a question. And just get up there in the panel and be like, yeah, my name is JT. I host a Star Wars podcast called the Nerf Herder Council. I was wondering what in God's holy creation you were thinking when you wrote that ungodly, terrible, stupid fight scene. What is wrong with you? What were you thinking? Why?
Yeah. Hi. Just a follow-up question. This is AJ, also of a podcast.
Get on the other side of the room.
I just want to follow up a little bit. Can you explain? What the fuck?
We just.
Excuse me. Another question, podcaster.
It's Steve be the third. Like, well, yeah, I have a question. Seriously, what was up with that fight? Like, what the fuck, bro? Seriously, like we just keep just keep beating it into the ground.
Also podcaster. I'm going to what those guys said. What the fuck were you thinking again?
I don't believe you answered their question, sir. So that's my question: is why you didn't answer the question?
Objection. Can we go back to the last question, please?
they're like simulcasting it, and we're on Star Wars official YouTube channel forever. Or they have to edit. They have to actually edit the damn thing. So there's like a chunk of 5 minutes missing from the panel.
Well, we just got to space it out. Like, you got to ask your question, and then AJ needs to go like 10 minutes later. So it really, like, so they can't just cut a section out. They really got to fuck with the whole thing.
Or better yet, we do it from the crowd. Like, one of us is a few rows from the front, and one of us is like a few rows from the back. And it's just go. The one in the back just goes, "Yeah, what's up with that stupid Maul Obi-Wan thing in Rebels? Why did you do that?" And everyone's like, "What the hell?" And then like a few minutes later, like the dude up front, like AJ's up front, he's like, "No, seriously, what about that stupid fight? Address that. What did you do?" And it's like, we're like yelling from the crowd.
Kale's got the follow-up for us too.
Yeah. So, space whales, huh? See, that's a great idea. If you hate all Star Wars fans. Good one, Kale. Yes. Man, we have all kinds of ideas for what not to do at Celebration. We're awesome at this.
Yeah, let the other shows do the Celebration Survival Guide. We'll do the how to get your ass punted out of there on the first day guide.
Well, we stick with what we're good at. So
I'm gonna be on the live episode of Mocktails from the Cantina on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I can't wait for this to come up because we're talking about Celebration. Like, well, we have an idea of what we're actually going to be doing live shows. I'm going to totally bust it out on Chris. Be like, yeah, so check out what we're doing.
All right, Chris, hear me out here. Here's our idea, right?
And Chris, I want to know if you want to be a part of the Nerf Herder Council live from Celebration. There'll be 4 episodes a day. Poor Chris. Like, we're here at the Star Wars Explained podcast stage with Chris Mock of Mocktails from the Cantina. He's a Star Wars documentarian, and he's got all these movies. Just give his whole biography, so that he just absolutely gets tied to us like we're an anchor around his ankle as we drag him down with us. Poor Chris. Oh my God, that's awesome. So, all right. Well, on that note, why don't we close up shop? Thanks, everyone, for sticking around for our silliness. You guys had some good ideas, man. K.O. McLeish, appreciate it. KXM, Weaver, Steel Brony, stop capitalizing words when it doesn't need to be done. Appreciate you guys for hanging out. We are back here on Wednesday, May 11th. Oh, we've got another meme. Another goat. Join me, and we can rule the galaxy as Buck and Kid. Nice. Is a male goat a buck? Is it?
Yeah.
I never knew that. I'm ignorant as shit, apparently.
I kid you not.
Oh, God. Did you really go there? Oh, my God. I'm not even going to do that. But, anyway. Yeah, so we are back again on Wednesday, May 11th at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be a very celebration-centric episode because 2 weeks after that, we will actually be at Star Wars Celebration. So we'll have a lot to talk about Celebration on May 11th. And then when we return from Celebration, we will be discussing it. I will say this, AJ, it does suck that we're not doing an episode while at Celebration because it would actually fall right on Star Wars Day on May 25th. So, you know.
Well, KXM just pointed out a week from today is May the 4th, and we're not doing one then either. So, you know, whatever.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're awesome at the Star Wars
we're
thing.
Good at.
Yep. So, yeah, come hang out with us on May 11th. Thanks for jumping into the chat, guys. We appreciate it. Again, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for a 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And I recommend Why We Love Star Wars. I just downloaded that, and I'm listening to it, and it is kick-ass. It's basically just a nerd love story. It's 100 reasons why we love Star Wars, and it comes from everything from the current canon. So it's got some stuff from the comics, from the novels. Most of it, of course, is from the movies and the animated TV series, but it is really, really cool. Each of the pieces is only like 5 minutes long, so it's a very quick listen. You can take it in little bites. It's great. So check that out. Why We Love Star Wars. It's really good. And yeah, don't forget to click that like and subscribe button on YouTube so that you get notified every time we go live. So once again, I'm your host, JT at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579. Stay tuned to the socials, Twitter especially, for WTF Friday announcements.
And he is Steve?
At Nerf Herder Steve. And Nerf Herder Games on Twitch.
There we go.
bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my nerf herder.
You my nerf herder.